Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. 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 It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I am your host, Mikey, and as always, riding with me, my boy Tommy. What's going on, brother?
What is going on, Mr. Mikey? Happy Friday to you and to everybody that is watching. It couldn't have gotten here fast enough, my friend.
However, we had a long week after last Friday's show. And you said it many, many times. Brandon Beane does not like to make player trades. And then, everyone was on that D-Hop bandwagon. And I don't think it's completely dead, but I'm kind of falling over into your category. I'm not going to believe anything until it happens. I'm not getting hyped. I was hyped last Friday night.
I was excited too. About it. I don't know why. I keep falling for it. What's up, Chris? I appreciate you hopping on, man. But yeah, Mikey, it's like from now on, and I'm serious. I'm serious. I don't care if Brandon Beane's brother-in-law tweets out that they were hanging out in the bar and Brandon Beane had a few drinks and slipped out, that he was trying to get D-Hop or whoever. I am not going to fall for it this time around. I do not care until I get the official, the trade is done or whatever. I'm not believing it because it's never, ever the case. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I am glad that Brandon Beane said all that stuff y'all read. I would say 1% is probably true. That's a terrible percent. So that means pretty much all the crap that we ever heard up to date about trades, potential, or even free agents, honestly. Because, it's funny, Mike, I think back to all the trade rumors and all, even free agents, and we never wind up getting any one of these guys, ever, ever, ever. So, and the ones we get weren't even talked about. Like Devon Miller, free agent signing, nobody even knew about it until the deal was done, right? So, but we were supposedly in a mix for this guy and that guy, and we were supposed to be trading for this guy, and OBJ for sure is probably coming last year and getting ready for the playoffs, and this and that and this. It's like, bro, we're in every talk. Derrick Henry and this and it's like, dude, at this point, it is what it is. Brandon Beane, for some reason, just doesn't pull the trigger. And it's odd, Mikey, because he pulled the trigger for Stephon Diggs. Not only did he pull the trigger, he gave up a first-round draft pick, right? And by the way, when he traded for Stephon Diggs, it wasn't like he even got backlash. It wasn't like people were like, oh, God, Stephon Diggs, we gave up too much. Probably should have gave up a second or third. So my point is, now let's see what happens with the DeAndre Hopkins thing. But I'm going to be furious if he winds up getting traded for something that we could have offered, like a third round, and next year's fourth or something. I would have been told, you know what I mean? Now if it's something too rich for his blood, I get it. A second round, first round, totally understand. I would say, hey, yep, you're right, because there was some trades that I was like, oh shit, we should trade for that guy, and they wind up giving up the house, and I'm not for that, right? Brandon Beane has to play safe and be a good GM, but man, if it's a reasonable offer, Mikey, don't you think that he should pull the trigger? He did it once. I mean,
if it's a reasonable offer, but I know there's reports saying, oh, it's a third. They want less. But the last report I heard was they were asking for the Christian McCaffrey package, and that was just too rich. And then it came out saying the Bills aren't going to make the deal unless something substantial happens, which they have to come down. So it's hard to know what's really.
Yeah, we have no idea. Yeah, that's true.
However, the Stephon Diggs trade came out of nowhere. There was no reports like, oh, we're looking at Stephon Diggs. It seems like when there's a lot of smoke, nothing ever happens with it.
Right.
Bean just tends to make trades when nobody knows what's going on.
Or free agent signings. Even free agent signings, right?
Yeah.
I agree with it. It's just, but
because I didn't hear about Vaughn until Vaughn signed.
No, me. So I took a nap and I was pissed. Remember, I was complaining. I was like, "What are we doing? We need an edge." Because Chandler Jones. Remember, we were supposed to get Chandler Jones. We were in the running, and I was all freaking. I was pissed, dude. I was like, "I'm taking a nap." I woke up and Twitter was exploding with Von Miller news, and I said, "Oh, damn. Okay." So it seems like he can take his chances when he wants, but he doesn't take a lot of them, right? He doesn't roll the dice often, is what I'm saying. And I feel like sometimes you do gotta. Maybe Brandon Beane needs to roll the dice a little bit more, take those chances a tad more. But I don't know. We talked about this during the week. It's like, God forbid, like if let's say the Chiefs wind up giving him, a third round for DeAndre and a fourth. I'm gonna be pissed, bro, because it's like, I'll be honest with you. I've seen in-season trades, at the trade deadline where it could have been a player we could have used going into the playoffs, and they took a third or a fifth round or sixth round pick for the guy. And I'm like, man, Bean, you got to roll the dice once in a while, bud. You got to take a chance. It's okay, man. It's but I don't know. What's your thoughts on that? Like, what do you think? Why do you think Bean's just stubborn with that? Or do you think maybe he does the call and GMs are like, and he's just, Brandon Beane's like, calling about Hopkins, we're willing to give you a fourth round. That's it, man. See you later. Like, and he's just not willing to pick the phone back up. Like, he's a stickler in that, or what?
I have no clue. I don't even have
I'm so curious on his methods, man.
Most of them want more. Everybody wants to win the trade across the board. Everybody wants to win the trade.
Right.
Especially some of these younger GMs coming in. Like the one in Arizona is a brand new GM, never been before. Right. So he doesn't want to get schooled by a veteran GM. So maybe he feels that if I make this trade and let's be honest. Say they asked for a third, right? And they got a third.
Yeah.
I think they paid a fifth to get him plus 2 years. So you're getting return on your investment, your ROI. You didn't pay you stole him from the Texans.
Exactly.
When Bill O'Brien was just, running
tossing players, right? Just throwing away.
So throwing away guys I don't know. Brandon Beane seems the type that has a value that he's willing to pay and he won't go like that. Like that's the end of it. That's there's value, and I won't budge. And he does it with players too, with free agent players,
Yeah. No, I agree. Dallas is funny though. This guy's going to the Bills. This guy, etc. It never happens, bro. Never. That's why I did that.
Like Ertz was all but done with the Bills.
Right,
and then
yes.
Granted, they wanted too much, and then they ended up getting like a third rounder, at the trade deadline. Von Miller was going to come to the Bills. We talked about it, and then they ended up trading him to the Rams instead of the Bills. We're always, that one, like someone comes in over the top of us. Bean refuses to give the extra stuff. The Diggs one was done because we gave up a first. I mean, we gave up a ton for Diggs.
We did. That's what I'm saying.
A ton for Diggs.
Right.
So
but my point is on that trade, Mikey.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody complained. It wasn't like when we all look back at that trade now, now, right? It was a great trade for both teams. Like nobody got screwed, right? Minnesota got their guy.
It was
Buffalo
one of the few wins you see.
Right. So I feel like, damn, like if of course, once again, I don't know what Cardinals are pushing for, but if it is a third, it's like Bean, more than likely, I think it's a pretty good. I don't know what he thinks is fair is what I'm saying. Like, why wouldn't you think Why would you think Diggs is worth the first, but Hopkins it wouldn't be?
It wasn't just a first.
I know.
It was more. A fourth and a fifth.
That's what I'm saying. So all that, but you're not willing to give up even a third.
Why?
And let's say a fourth, a third, and third. Or,
you have to remember, Diggs' contract.
I understand the
very
contract,
reasonable. He
also knew he was going to have to pay Diggs.
Yeah, but he was also going into his prime. He was like 26.
I get that.
For him.
But Hopkins is only 2 years left on his contract. I mean, you could
two
work
years,
out.
Yeah.
You could
2 years, but he's also 31.
Yeah, but he's still playing at a decently high level. It's not like he fell
Tommy,
off.
You don't got to talk me into Hopkins.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, if I'm Brandon Beane, you got to at least go, okay,
maybe they don't feel he fits the culture that they're trying to build.
I don't know, Mikey. It's a great question. I could talk about this all day with you. I know we got to move on.
Listen, we've been talking
about
a
head scratcher
for a week via text.
I talk about it I'll be honest, Mikey. I bring this up every season during the season when the trade deadline happens, because we're one of very few teams that do trades during trade deadline. I was shocked. And remember, last season, we did a late trade. I'm talking about like 4:00 on the dot. We pulled that trade off. Remember? Yep. It wasn't like we were making moves that day, like that move almost didn't happen. So we almost didn't even get him.
So here, let's talk about this really quick.
Yeah.
Daniel Gary says Arizona's asking for a second and third round picks, and I'm not even saying, oh, don't do that. Would you give up James Cook and Terrell Bernard for D-Hop right now?
Yes.
That was our second and third round pick last year.
Yes.
Would you give up Boogie Basham and Spencer Brown for D-Hop right now?
Yes. 100%.
That was our second and third round pick the year before.
100%. 100%.
So
no question
all those
about it.
Second and third round picks sound like,
winners.
Right. Now, if we were the Chiefs and we picked up, Creed Humphreys and somebody, then no, I won't. I don't want to.
Sure, right.
But I haven't seen Beane been able to draft a second and third round pick that's hit yet.
It's been a long time. Like, I'll give – you know what? I'll say – because I'm a Singletary guy. I still say Singletary was a decent third round pick. He did.
I would have given him up in a heartbeat for D-Hop, though.
Yes, but I'm saying out all the guys you just named, he's probably the best one. Dawson Knox comes to mind, third round, right?
Well, we traded back in the third round for him, but yeah.
Third round, but he worked out. So there is some guys, but I agree with you. We have not been nailing the picks anyways, right? So, you know what I mean? And to Beane's, what Beane said when we traded for Diggs was, hey, Diggs is a first round talent anyway. So it's like he's basically our first round pick. So you're saying D-Hop wouldn't be a second round pick? You're saying he's what? Right? A fourth round? He'd be a fourth? Come on, man. I'm just saying.
And it's not saying that we won't even make the deal for him, because they may wait until the draft day and then make the deal.
That's true, right? Because
that's the new thing going around, is they're going to wait.
The Cardinals could be fishing and hoping someone bites.
Mm-hmm.
And if nobody bites, then then draft day, then they get a little antsy and say, fuck it, we'll pull the trigger on a third instead of a second. You know what I mean? Or third and fifth.
I could see the Bills sitting at 27, the Cardinals really liking someone that's sitting there, and we make the swap first for their second. And we move back, it's a third round value, and we get D-Hop and their second, and they take the 27th pick. I could see something like that.
And it's funny because in these mock drafts, the linebacker like Campbell, some of them are thinking he's second round, early second. So maybe you still can get your linebacker, right? If you do that trade, hypothetically.
There's three. And
no, I know.
Really,
I'm just throwing that one name out.
Yeah. There's two true Mikes. There's Campbell and there's Sanders. And then there's Trent Simpson from who's more of an athletic guy. He's not a true Mike, but neither was Tremaine Edmonds. He wasn't a true Mike either. And we turned him into one.
But see, I don't think people would hate that. I don't think Bills Mafia would freak out if we still wind up getting our linebacker, right? Which is really the need in the draft. Let's be honest. And we got a D-Hop, right? Then they would say, okay, you got your stud receiver, not stud receiver, but you got your true second.
He's a stud receiver. He got another stud receiver,
right? You got another stud. I mean, he's not your main guy, but I get it. You're number two stud. How about that?
Yeah. Even if we're not looking at linebacker in that first round, because there's nothing saying that we are.
That's right.
You know, he could be looking
That's
to wait
true.
until after the draft and
Could
see
be looking for
who
a right
wiggles
tackle that
free.
slide. Yeah.
You know,
no,
I
100%.
can see a version where we bring back Klein to be in the middle on, you know, and we just rotate middle linebackers. Klein for the, you know, first couple
Right.
downs, and then we bring in Bernard or, you know, Dotson as a coverage guy, or we run
Right.
a thick dime with Taylor Rapp, and we run 6 with Milano. Like there's a lot of different things we could do.
Mhm.
Dallas comes in, can we afford D Hop's contract? Yes, there's a lot of things that can be done. You know, they would have to work out the deal ahead of time on it. There's ways that, you know,
Well, they're
Arizona can
letting
eat them,
they're
and
yeah,
then
and they're letting D Hop actually talk to teams right now
yeah,
about the contract. So it definitely could be worked out.
yeah, yep. And it would just be a revised contract.
Right.
You know, it's just one of, like, anything can happen in the NFL if they want to. Just how much do they want to do it?
Right.
You know, but I can see a way to do that, and then maybe we're not even looking at a linebacker in the first round, and we trade back, and then we're looking maybe for a guard or a tackle or a defensive tackle, or, you know, like Daniel Gardy comes in and says, you know, wide receiver or offensive tackle in round 1. Don't be surprised if you see a defensive tackle go round 1.
I know. I'm thinking the same thing. Because they know
we have 0 D tackles, you know, through after this year that are on contract.
Exactly, and I have a feeling that Ed Oliver won't be back. I mean, I know I said that with Poyer, but I'm saying it with Oliver because he's going to want a hefty bag. He's already talking about it.
Yep.
I know if Bean couldn't afford Edmonds, he's not going to afford Oliver. Someone's going to wind up paying Oliver.
They're not going to want to pay Oliver.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's going to be.
What he
now
wants?
it will. I'll tell you what though. For Oliver's case. You know how that is. He's going to be playing for a contract, right? So he's going to want to shine.
And if he goes out, and I hope he does. I hope he does
too.
Off. I hope he gets 15 sacks this year, and we let him walk, and we get a 3rd round pick for him. Because the first 4 years, his numbers have not equaled out to the $10 million salary that we're paying him.
No, 100%. I agree. And I thought, you know, they thought that he would. I think they saw.
I don't think it's just Oliver either. I think it's the defense that he's in, because we're not an attacking style defense. We're not.
Nope.
And I think if he went to somewhere like the Eagles or the 49ers or one of those attacking style defenses that uses them better, I think he would have better numbers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I said the same thing about Edmonds. I mean, I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on Edmonds this year, just to see how they use him. Like, I am so curious. I am also curious about Singletary, but he hasn't been signed yet. At least, no, has he? I think he has, right? Singletary got signed somewhere, right?
Yeah, Houston. One
right.
year, $4.3 million.
Right. It was only a 1-year deal, which is good for him because it's if he has a good year, maybe he'll get a better contract down the line, or they'll extend it. But I always want to know how my ex-Buffalo Bill players are doing. The ones I like, at least. You know what I mean? The guys I don't, I could care less about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I am very curious about Edmonds, how he's used moving forward on a different kind of scheme, and same with Ed Oliver, because I don't think he'll be back. But you're right. A DT would be interesting. But we brung one back, right?
Yeah, for this year. We brought back Jordan Phillips, which is awesome. I love Jordan. I hope he can stay healthy. He ran into some bad luck, running down the field after an interception. Snipered his hammy, and then he was chasing around Mac Jones and dove for him and tore his rotator cuff. I mean. Listen,
I wonder if players laugh at because you got to laugh later.
Oh,
I wonder if they get it. I wonder if they all like put it on video and in the clubhouse or something, because it was funny to watch live. I hated seeing him get hurt, but it's like, bro, you're not gonna catch him, bro. You're 350 pounds.
Yeah, they said the sniper one when he was running downfield and he looks like he got shot in the leg.
God,
they said that one. They said the defensive room was having a good time with.
All right, okay.
The other one, I think it was more disappointing that he was the only one chasing him around. Everyone else was just standing there,
stopping. Yeah,
it's
so funny. He says, "I get you want to be in the play, but bud." You're not gonna do it.
And to hit Daniel Gar's comment here, I heard the same thing from Greg. They would have to restructure too. and then redo his contract, and then we'd have a bunch of money. Now I have to remember that other money that we have to restructure would also help get us through the year. Plus, if we had any left over, it can be rolled into next year, so it wouldn't be that big a deal.
Yeah.
You know, next year we're a little bit tighter on money, but then in 2025 we just have so much money.
Exactly. Yeah. I listen, man. Right now, I think overall, I think we've had a pretty good off season for what we were working with, right? Money wise, right? The icing, what was it? Cherry on the top would be the Hopkins from me.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Like that would be, if they could pull that off, make it work. That would be the killer off season that really nobody saw coming, especially for last. I think that would kind of equal it out. It really would. But if they don't, it doesn't. I still think he did a good job. If you notice, we've been doing a lot of 1-year deals in the last 2 seasons, and that's because we're on the cap. The cap's really tight, but I feel like all the guys he's been picking up, for the most part, have all pretty much contributed, in their ways. Now, we've had some bad luck last season, I got to say. Jordan Phillips, right? Von Miller.
Hyde.
No, I'm talking about guys we sign on free agency for like 1 year.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying in general, like for the injuries.
For the team in general, it's a freaking nightmare.
Like if you look at it,
general, Buffalo was so bad from the offseason on. You
have to remember the Bills went 13-3 last year, and they did it without Micah Hyde almost the whole season.
Oh yeah,
they did a
nagging Poyer injury.
A horrible Swiss cheese offensive line. Poyer was down most of the year. White didn't come back until halfway through the year, or 3/4 way through the year, before he was actually himself. Gabe Davis played injured all year long. Like it was
Josh Allen.
Yeah, played hurt the last half of the year. So it was one of those things of, and the only person of our starting crew that's not coming back, really. I mean, yes, you can say Singletary. The main cog that we lost is Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah, that was it. I agree.
Other than that, we brought back everyone, and we've upgraded in a lot of places.
We did. I think offensive line. I want to see it on the field. I got excited last year. I'm not going to do that again, Mikey. I'm not going to fall for it. I got to see it in action, because I really thought with Saffold, with Quessenberry, I really thought they would improve the running game. Saffold being a good vet, like it just didn't work out.
Didn't work. No.
It didn't happen. And I was excited. I remember doing podcasts with you, and we were like, Saffold, and then we were, bro,
he's
if
coming
you go
from
back
that
in time,
Tennessee run game.
Yeah, but we were excited. Like it was like finally, like we're getting some big guy, veterans.
I mean, we did hedge our bets, saying he was older.
We did.
We were concerned about the age. Like now, when we signed McGovern, he's not a big run guy. He's more of a pass guy.
Pass blocker.
But he's ascending, not descending.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
It's a big difference.
But I still I gotta see it I gotta see it.
We'll see
when it's complete. I have no idea who they're going to draft. So right now, I know what our lineup is today. It doesn't mean it will be on opening day, right? You know what I mean? Okay.
Still a long ways away to opening day.
Long way.
Daniel Garth comes in and asks, would you rather have Hopkins for draft picks and money, or OBJ for just money?
Hopkins.
I would rather have Hopkins too. He's a better receiver.
He's a better receiver with less injuries.
Injury. Yeah, he doesn't have the injury concern. He's a better receiver in general.
Look at listen, I still want to hate if OBJ came here if they figure it out like a cheapy deal. But I don't. It's not going to be cheap. Like at least for him, he's thinking. I think teams are going. I don't think so, bud. Because if you look at OBJ's numbers, they haven't been really good. Like the last
4 or 5 years, 4 years.
Right. So it's like 4 years. He's wanting top 10 receiver money almost, and he's not a top 10 receiver, right? So like, I mean, Gabe Davis has been playing better than OBJ, right? So it's like, and we're all complaining about Gabe Davis. So. Yes, 100%. I would be for Hopkins over the OBJ. But if they could work out a deal with OBJ, if the Hopkins thing would work out and it was reasonable, I'd be up for it. Fine. But
I would like to see us add one of those two guys to our receiving core. It would be the cherry on top. I don't care. 100%. Whatever they think works is fine with me.
Yeah.
I don't care one way or the other who it is. If I had my choice, I would want Hopkins.
Yep.
just because at his age, OBJ, a lot of OBJ is, speed and getting away, creating separation. Hopkins is physical. Like he has
great hands too.
great hands. Doesn't have to have a ton of room. Great 50-50 ball guy.
Route runner, good route runner as well.
He has the Travis Kelce knack for just finding the zone and sliding a little bit to get open. It's just a good feel for the game.
Yeah,
that's what I love about him.
I think we're all caught up on OBJ has the moments that we, you know what I mean? Like, you know how that is, right? The moments that we remember.
Yeah.
But in reality, DeAndre Hopkins, not only does he have moments, we all remember one. Very right. We all remember it. But he also has stats to back it for the last 4 seasons that OBJ doesn't have the stats to prove it, that he's been that dude. So, yeah, bro, it's time. If they're going to do it, man, Mikey, I would hate to see him go to an AFC team, especially a contender. Like, fine. If he goes to Houston Texans again or some crappy team or whatever, fine. Like, I'm good with it. Or an NFC team. But, man, if he gets the Chiefs for a 3rd round or something that was reasonable, even a second, I'm still going to be like, damn, Bean. Like, bro, like, that'll be rough. I'll be honest with you. D-Hop winds up in the Chiefs, which I don't think will happen, but you never know. Honestly, bro, I don't know what to say. Really, that's going to be really tough out, bro. That just really will be. I mean,
it really depends what he goes for. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to talk about it without really.
I agree. We have no idea. I have no idea until what happens. I just have seen trades where I thought Bean should have pulled the trigger, especially in season trades that were reasonable that a team gave. And I was like, why didn't we needed that? Like, I don't understand.
Well, at the same time, there's nothing that's going to tell us, even if we make that in-season trade, that we're going to be able to use it. We did it last year.
No, I'm talking about for a guy that's I'm talking about the guy that's like a difference maker right away. I like Hines, I do, but I think Hines, to be fair, I think Hines took a little while, and he admitted so, for the playbook. And I think that was a concern for McDermott and Dorsey. So I think that's why maybe you didn't see him implemented early, because he was taking a little longer, than maybe expected, right, to catch on. They didn't want to throw him in there not knowing the playbook. I think this season, though, coming up, is why they winded up working his deal out. You will see a lot more Hines, in my opinion. I think Hines will get. Now he'll be able to go through camp. He'll know the playbook 100%. You know what I mean? He'll have a preseason with us. He'll get Josh Allen will get comfortable with him. You know that we talk about it all the time. Josh Allen needs comfortability, right? He has to trust you. He's not going to throw you the ball, plain and simple. Or he's not going to even hand you the ball on an RPO. Like, you know that, right? It took a while with remember Singletary? First couple seasons, he never, very rare, right? Because Singletary had the drops. He's in the beginning. But once Singletary started getting a little better, you saw Allen going to Singletary a lot more, especially last season in the passing game. So I think they need to build that chemistry, and that will happen in the offseason, bro. I'm telling you, in training camp, preseason, and then I think you'll see Hines being used more and what we expected him last season when he first came to us. So that's where I'm going. But I'm talking about like a middle linebacker has been in the league a long time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's been guys that have been traded, you know?
Yeah. Dallas comes in and asks, is there any free agents out there that I'd like to see us sign? Yes.
That's a good.
I'd like to see us sign, Yannick as a D end, or Frank Clark as a D end, or
like Frank Clark, man.
Veteran,
but he's
I mean, Yannick had double-digit sacks last year for the Colts. He's not great. He's not great against the run, but if you use him as a rotation guy, and can you imagine us being able to have Vaughn and Yannick off the edges with Groot and Oliver on the inside, and 3rd and longs?
No, I agree. I mean,
that'd be awesome.
Really good.
I would love to see us get another edge. I'm kind of just running through. Kenny Galladay is still out there, but he hasn't really done much in a lot of years. There's not a ton out there that really excite me. We need another linebacker. The problem is there isn't a ton. Like the best linebackers that are left are like Zach Cunningham. He doesn't excite me at all. Deion Jones. I can see us going with a Deion Jones later on. You know, Miles Jack, who just kind of fell off the face of the earth.
I know, man.
He was
wild,
so good,
right?
and then all of a sudden just crashed and burned. You know, I'm trying to look to see what else is out there from that could play linebacker. There's not like the linebacker market has dried up badly.
Mm-hmm.
Corey Littleton, Kyle Van Noy. They call him an inside, but he's more of an outside.
Yeah,
you know,
been around.
Neville Hewitt from Houston. Like it's not real pretty in the linebacker market.
No. I keep telling you, I have a feeling, man, that they're gonna go Tyrel Dotson, man, or it's gonna be like linebacker by committee. They're gonna be shuffling him in and out depending on.
Well, we saw Dotson and Bernard both last year, and then didn't look pretty. So they
no, it didn't.
It
didn't. I think Dotson had his moments, right, but just not good enough to hold the spot down.
He's a backup linebacker in special teams.
No, I
agree.
Nothing
wrong with that.
I agree.
You know?
Bernard, forget about it. It's not happening. I'm sorry. I just don't see it happening. I think
you don't see it happening, but I bet you they have him penciled in as the starter this year. Right now.
I can't. Hey, listen.
They love him.
I will come on here and I will do a whole video about how I am so wrong.
No, I don't think that you're going to be wrong. I don't want to see him as our middle linebacker. However, they spent a third rounder last year, and McDermott loves those undersized guys.
I know. Okay, McDermott likes the undersized guys, but yet we're losing a guy that was far from undersized. Like you're going to replace him with an right. Like, why would you do that? Like, you know what I mean? Like you want to at least get a guy that was similar.
If you look at it, Joe Marino just went through and did it, and he looked at the tape of all three of our current linebackers, Bernard, Dotson, and Spector, and none of the three reign like confidence in being a starting middle linebacker for us.
I know. I thought Spector looked okay in preseason, but that's preseason. That means nothing. But I thought Spector had a high motor. I was intrigued by him.
He's solid tackler and high motor.
Yeah, I was intrigued.
I thought he's more of a special team. I thought he was going to be the replacement.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. And maybe he will be. Maybe he will be in the future. Maybe that's their plans. But maybe they go through the draft, Mikey, and maybe the linebacker's not in this draft that they like. Maybe they get the linebacker next year or a free agent. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, but I have a weird feeling that Dotson, it's not good, man. But hopefully we're wrong. Maybe Dotson works out and busts his butt in the offseason and becomes.
It's gonna make me really nervous going into next year if he's our starting middle linebacker. I am not gonna feel great about it. I mean, he is surrounded by really good secondary, but man, like Tremaine Edmonds struggled in coverage at times against some of the guys that we're gonna go against, and we have a rough schedule.
Oh, it ain't pretty. We had a rough schedule last year, I thought.
And it's worse this year.
And the AFC East only getting better. We had to play them twice, each opponent. And it's like, guys, I'm telling you, man, like, this is why I go back to the whole Brandon Beane needs to make some moves. And sometimes you got to give some draft picks up because some of the draft picks you're picking, they ain't working. Like, we got to match up.
But the problem is we can't always just give up the draft.
No, I'm not saying do that. I get it.
Because we need that cheap labor because
I get that too. I get that.
Payroll.
Understand, but then you got to do it right. Can't go be
going after Bernard. Don't pick an undersized linebacker in the third round.
Right. Dude, I would be all for the draft if he was nailing them. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, yo, forget that. You've been killing on the second and thirds. Like, go for it. Like, but that's not the case. It hasn't been the case. And I also wonder too if maybe he was just a little bit too, cocky in what we had right? And it was like, you know what? We could get Bernard. It's a guy we don't need this guy right away. We could just we're gonna like and it backfired. You know what I mean? Maybe he thought our team was set. You know, I'm just throwing that out there. I could be wrong. But
I felt like that was a Sean McDermott pick and not a Brandon Beane pick.
He could have had. Who knows? In those late rounds, maybe McDermott, has a little bit more say.
Jack Campbell would be the ideal replacement for Tremaine Edmunds.
I do like him, by the way.
If we take him at 27, I will have zero qualms with that.
I wouldn't be mad. It would be a little. I think he's a second round guy, early second round, in my opinion, Mikey. That guy, but I wouldn't totally be mad with it. But there were people that said we reached at that point because I think he's an early second round pick somewhere in the second round. I don't see him falling into the third, obviously, but it would, it'd be interesting to see if we don't pick him where he lands. You know what I mean? Like if he winds up going late second round, we could have grabbed him.
He's probably gonna go early third or early second. Would be my guess.
That's what I'm thinking. No later than the middle second round.
And it's why you might have to take him at 27 because I don't think he's going to be there.
Because you can't because we have such a late pick in the second round. I agree.
Yeah.
Unless like we were talking about earlier, you feel confident enough where he's slipping in the draft, where you're getting to that point, and you roll the dice and you trade that first round, you slip back in the second, you take someone's second, early second, whoever, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then try to snag them up there. Then maybe I can see that working out, but it's a gamble. It's a gamble either way because it still get drafted by somebody. Yep. So
if he's your guy, you take him at 27.
I agree. I totally agree.
Ben comes in and says, "I want to right tackle at 27."
They're not going to do
it.
Ben,
I don't disagree with you. But if you've listened to anything McDermott and Beane has said, they're pretty set with Spencer Brown at right tackle, and then they brought back Quessenberry. They're not. I would be floored if they go offensive tackle at 27.
Yeah, I would be shocked. I think they would go guard before they go tackle, in my opinion.
I'm not even against this, Ben. You're not going to get a right tackle. The Mafia is farther down on Spencer Brown than the
big time
drive.
I'm not. I'm on Brandon. I'm team Brandon Beane on this subject as far as Spencer Brown. I believe
it's a different
Spencer Brown. Still,
it's different. Ben comes in and says they say the same thing about Cody Ford, and look how it turned out. It's a completely different. Spencer Brown is 100 times better than Cody Ford was.
Yep, I agree. He has way more upside, way more. If there's a couple things. If he could stay healthy, if he does, like, meaning his back issues are done, right? The surgery's done, like he had the surgery, and that doesn't pop back up in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And he works at his craft. I don't know what type of worker Spencer Brown is. I don't know what he does in the offseason. I don't know if he gives the extra effort. There's certain guys that push themselves to get better. He may be a guy that doesn't. I don't know.
Well, but it couldn't.
No, I know that. I'm just saying. That's what I mean. I have no idea. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So we don't know that, right? Exactly. Great point. So now he's healthy, right? Let's see what he does in the offseason. If he tries to better himself, if he works for Cromer early or whatever, offensive guy, offensive lineman. If there's I don't know what the hell they do, but I'm sure there's some kind of special academy they all get together or something. But if he comes in the next season healthy, and we talked about this, me and Mikey already did, comes in his next season and he gets beat out, let's say, in camp, or he's sluggish again, and we're seeing the same mistakes over and over, then I will say we need a right tackle. I will, because that's it. Like, there's no more excuses. I am not the excuse guy. Cody Ford was to be honest with you, was a disaster from day one, in my opinion. I felt like
they didn't know where to do with him. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they were lost from day one. At least Spencer Brown was like, right tackle. Here's what I did.
See, and everyone thought they threw him in there because Cody Ford was so bad they didn't have a choice. No one expected him to start year one the way he did.
I didn't.
And then he had the back surgery this offseason, didn't get to, he didn't start practicing until the week of game week one. Right. So he got no preseason.
No work with Cromer. Stuff. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, nothing. Really.
So this is the first time since he's been drafted that he has an offseason to actually do something. So it's why I think they're not going to take the right tackle at 27, and they're going to bet that he gets better and he'll be our right tackle moving forward.
Exactly. If not, then hey, it is what it is. You draft a right tackle next year, man.
Yeah, I'm with you, Spen. Outside of Quentin Johnson, who's the first rounder, who's the 6'4" guy. Most of them are really small guys.
5'10", 5'9", 5'8". I mean,
Addison can play outside, but he's 6 foot. You know, right. Zay Flowers is one of my favorites, and he's like 5'8".
5'9", 5'8", 5'9".
5'9". He's like one of my favorite wide receivers in the draft.
But
I mean, he can play inside, outside, but he's not real big.
Right.
I love Cedric Tillman. He's 6 foot. I like Jalen Reed. Those are mid round guys, not first round guys. So it'll be. I have this feeling in my gut that we're going defense in the first round.
We tend to. I mean, so it's not. You're not that like crazy thinking that like
everyone's talking about it. We haven't gone first round offense. You know, Josh hasn't played at the first round. You know,
that's it. Right?
Guy yet. You know, so wild. It's just one of the like.
Right.
But we have a defensive head coach.
Yeah.
I
don't know if that's the answer anymore.
There are a couple. I like this one, DG. How about tight end 27? It's a real good one. So you have Michael Myers, who's probably the all around guy, who I absolutely love. Mm-hmm. And then you have Dalton Kincaid, who's really fantastic. Those are your 2 first round tight ends. Then you have that Washington kid out of Georgia, who's more of a freak athlete than a polished athlete. Mm-hmm. He's like 6'7", 6'8", 260, just a monster individual out of Georgia, the kid Washington. Mm-hmm. But are you really going to take a tight end 2 in the first round?
Right. Yeah.
You know, when you don't have any defensive linemen, and there's a ton of good defensive linemen coming out this year too, you know, that could fit what we need. There's 1 tech and 3 techs.
I'll tell you what on the tight end, I've been saying it. I know because I'm a Miami guy, but I'm telling you, Will Mallory for a late, he's going to be a late day 3.
He's moving up. I don't think he's going to be late day 3. I think you're going to see him late day 2,
maybe.
Early day
You're right.
He's
very
flying
possible.
Up draft boards. He's flying up draft boards.
He is because he has good hands. He's tall and he has speed. He's a guy you can block. He has an up and he can block. And he's upside, right? He still can be worked with like to get better, right? That would be a good pick. And we'll see if he's climbing up draft boards, but that's another guy I would not mind getting on this roster, man. And there's your red zone guy. There's your, there's your big top kind of tight end / receiver. You know, I mean, if you look at Mike Gesicki, it's not really a blocker, but he's a hell of a receiver tight end. I would take him in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? So,
but how many slots do we need? We got a ton of slots.
Slots?
Slot guys?
Oh, he's talking about. No, I'm talking about. What,
and you said you'd move him. You can also put him in the slot.
No, I didn't say slot. I didn't say slot. I didn't say put him in slot. I didn't say that.
If he's more of a receiving threat, you're not going to.
No, I'm saying like I get what I'm saying. I'm comparing him to Gesicki as far as Gesicki is more like a receiver / tight end, but he's not really a blocking tight end. My point is he's a hell of a catch. Hell of a tight end. He just doesn't do the blocking part of it. Mallory has the ability to be like a receiver / tight end who could be in the red zone, is what I'm saying. We could, with his height and his speed, he could definitely, get away from a defender, is what I'm saying, like a linebacker, somebody guarding him.
My only concern about having a tight end 2 who doesn't block is it tells you what's going to happen when you put him on the field.
Well, what if you run 2 tight ends? Not necessarily. If you run a Dawson Knox out there and Mallory, then you got like in the red zone. You don't necessarily know they're going to Mallory. They go to Dawson Knox.
No, but you know they're not going to run the ball. If you're running a
true,
tight end,
no, you're right. But who cares? Who cares at that point?
Well, I mean, you're tipping your hand.
I get it. But
it
we
was like the
we
difference
passed.
when we had Frank
I don't think
Gore and when
No,
Frank
I
Gore was
get
on
it.
the field, you knew they weren't passing.
But I don't think anyone thinks we're running. Anyways.
Yeah.
Am I right or am I wrong? What defense thinks
quickly,
we're running?
Quickly, Daniel Simmons says Josh is the only first round pick, 0 second round picks. No, that's not true. We have Devin Cook on the roster, who was a second round pick last year. 2 third round picks
on offense. Oh yeah. So Cook, James Cook was second round last year. Yeah.
Who changed his number to number 4. So now he is.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Know, he's probably going to be RB1 this year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I thought he had a good second half last season. I thought the game slowed down. I would like to see him gain weight once again. He has to get a little bigger, Mikey, and he has to do a better job pass blocking. The thing is, pass blocking was pretty bad. That's why you saw Singletary a lot out there too. Singletary wasn't a bad pass blocker. I will say this: the guy Harris, he is a good pass blocker.
He's average. He's not great.
He's pretty good, Mikey.
Go back and look.
I'm just saying, from what I've seen, just like Devin Singletary, I thought everyone's saying he was average, below that. I thought Devin Singletary was pretty solid pass blocker. Not excellent. He wasn't like mauling people, but he held his ground. He gave Josh a little time. I think Harris can do that too. I've seen it on tape. He's not excellent, but he's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
When they read it correctly and they block, he's solid in that. The issue that we've had with Singletary, and I've also seen with Harris, is they don't always diagnose it well enough, and they have free runners coming where he should have picked them up and they didn't. I do agree with you when they've diagnosed it. When he actually lined up the block, Singletary is really good at blocking.
He held his own. Yeah,
the issue we had is there's times that he just had mental lapses.
He whiffed. Didn't see. Yeah, I know.
And it wasn't even that he whiffed. He just missed that guy coming, and he didn't see him, and he didn't recognize.
Or got out of the break too quick without chip blocking a little bit. Yep. I agree. I agree.
So when I look at blocking in general, I'm looking at that whole thing. I'm not looking at this. But you're right. If they diagnosed it correctly, he was solid at pass blocking.
But that is why we need a big. I don't mind Harris, and I'm glad we got Harris for short downs, but he's still not the answer. That's why I wasn't crazy about the pickup, but it was only a 1-year deal. And mind you, doesn't mean you can't get cut if you wind up getting a running back in the draft or figuring maybe, I'm just throwing it out there, a trade, even though it won't happen. So
read your own title, buddy. Read your own title.
Right. But doesn't mean they won't find one in the draft later in a round that winds up working out. There's been players that get drafted later in running backs that wind up working out that were 3rd, 4th round, 5th round that wind up being good. You know what I mean? So maybe they wind up drafting a running back later in the rounds that beats out Harris or whatever. They're not obviously Cook staying on the team. Just don't want Hines obviously staying on the team. But I don't think Harris is a lock in my opinion. I'm just going to throw that out there. I don't think he's a lock.
1.7. 1 year, 1.7. I think he's a solid RB2.
Yeah, that's fair.
He does what we're missing. But if we get a late round guy who can be an RB2, we can also keep him on a rookie deal for 4 years, and I'm okay with that too. We only have 6 picks.
You could trade him. I mean, technically,
I'm just saying. There's a lot of running backs still out there.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying someone might. I mean, he's done it before. I'm just saying he's done it before. You could trade a player. If it's not working out, if you're going to cut him anyways and get what you want, get something in return rather than, or you cut him, whatever, same thing. But Bean's good. I will say this: Bean is good for the most part at getting something back. You're right, for guys he's going to wind up cutting.
I mean, he did get a 7th for Lee Smith, and some other. And
the quarterback, you got something for Zay, pretty good.
You got something for Zay Jones. You got something from Peterman.
AJ.
Russell Bodine. Yeah, Russell. Russell Bodine.
Right.
Mills. I mean,
Mills. So there's
Carolina.
I give him that. Like, it's just the player trades we're talking about. Not so great. We'll see. But anyways, go ahead, Mike.
See how that plays out. So, Well, let's quickly run through Taylor Rapp. I know that you want to talk about him.
Yeah, I did. That was a pretty good signing.
Yeah, I love it. I thought he was going to be one of those guys that we picked up if we lost Poyer. The fact that we got him and Poyer allows us. Let's not don't pour salt in the wound.
Oh, come on, Daniel. Damn
Don't
you.
pour salt in the wound.
Other than that, you see how we ignored that. We didn't even bring that up for a reason.
Before I get into Taylor Rapp, did you hear that he's actually on the market right now? They're looking to move him.
Who?
The Browns.
Moving Teller?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's rumblings out there that they're calling around about him.
Yeah, now that they're strapped with $250
million for
right. Now they're like, uh-oh. we gotta mix
room. It'd be interesting to see.
Well, duh. I mean,
yes, Ben, you're right. And what does that tell you? Biscuit Benjamin was the only first-round player he's played with.
That's crazy, bro. And he was so bad, bro. He was so bad, dude.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah. So let's get into Taylor Rapp. 6 foot, 208, 25 years old, getting ready to go into his prime. We signed him for 1 year, 1.7 million.
Another one of those 1 year deals.
I think he's coming in, and I think he's going to be a succession plan. I really do. I think he's going to come in, get to know the defense. I can see because Poyer signed a 2-year deal, but it could really, we have an out at the end of the year, so it could be a 1 year deal. Him and Hyde both could be gone at the end of this year. And Rapp could be one of those guys along with Hamlin if he's back, or Benford if we decide to slide him back to safety. And it could be Rapp, and that's kind of one of those things because he's young enough to really be in that next wave.
Right.
But this year we can deploy him more as a weapon. You know, we talked about it a little bit. I would love to see us, you know, when we're in those 3rd and longs that we tend to give up all the time. I'd love to see us run a 6 DB set. You either use Taylor Rapp as a linebacker type, you know, that's coverage, or drop Poyer into the box and put Rapp in the back, you know, deep with Hyde, and run a more athletic, smaller, especially against the teams like the Chiefs and the Bengals, you know, who have those receiving options, you know. And if it's 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 17 that they're always getting, why not? Let's get a little bit more creative, get a little bit more aggressive, especially with our middle linebackers situation the way it is today.
Yeah, I agree.
So, so far, he's basically started 3 of his 4 years. He started 10 games his rookie year, had 100 tackles, 2 interceptions, 4 fumble recovery, you know, 3 tackles for losses. But then in 2020, he got hurt. He only started 5 games. He had 44 tackles in 5 games.
Okay.
In 2021, he started all 17. He had 94 tackles. He had 4 interceptions. He had 6 pass defenses, 1 fumble recovery, 2 tackles for losses, 3 quarterback hits. 2022, he started 16 games. He only played 16 because he was out for one of them. He had 92 tackles, 2 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, 1 fumble recovery, 2 tackles for loss, 1 QB hit. So he's been a solid safety. And he brings and I watched a little bit of the Cover 1 breakdown of him. He's a really solid tackler. He's fundamental. He doesn't go for the big hits. He wraps.
Right.
Which is nice.
Yeah, no, real good. I mean, listen, this is the guy. Yeah, this is the guy that we were going to probably get if Poyer didn't return anyways. So it's a win-win really for Buffalo. Like, wind up getting Poyer and the guy that was going to replace him. So I love, once again, Brandon Beane. He's really good at finding these guys on cheapy kind of deals, like 1-2 year deals. And if he works out, like Mikey said, maybe, you know, they do an extension, they figure it out, and we'll see how Poyer, you know, works out. But no, I love this signing. Like I said, I'm happy with every signing so far. I'm not gonna lie. Now obviously that could change, you know, during the season, and there might be a guy where I'm like, oh, this guy's so awful. But as of now, I'm satisfied with the signings that Brandon Beane's done. Nothing's been, there hasn't been a guy that he overpaid or, that's really shouldn't, or he reached for, trying to, just because we wanted him that. Like, I felt like all these guys could contribute. None of these guys are superstars. None of these guys are, future, but you never know. Some of them could work out. I know you want to write. Cool.
I get it, Spin. I get it, buddy.
But hey, man, I'll tell you what, Spin. Listen, let's see. I mean, honestly, let's see how the season goes, because you may have a change of tune later on. You know what I mean? I mean,
there's nothing to say we don't draft the right tackle later on in the draft either.
No, I know exactly. There might be a guy that they draft a right tackle in the 3rd round and beats out Spencer Brown. I mean, listen, it's going to be the best. Cromer's not going to just put him out there because he's a 3rd round pick. Cromer's going to put the guy he wants out.
It wasn't Cromer's guy. Cromer wasn't
here.
No,
I'm saying this offseason, when we wind up drafting whoever you draft, bringing whoever you bring, whoever wins that position, whoever's playing the best, going to win the job. Plain and simple. It's not going to be Brandon Beane's job is to draft the players, sign the players. Not his job to go, hey, I want Spencer Brown. Like, I don't think he's that guy. And it's not a quarterback thing, right? Where you draft a 1st round pick and he's playing bad. I get that, right? Your GM has a little say in it, but it's a right tackle. Listen, if he's not the guy, he's not the guy. And Cromer's going to tell him. He's going to tell McDermott. McDermott's going to go, okay, put the best guy in there. That's it. All right. So we'll see what happens.
Brown can be the guy if he can stop a speed rush.
No, you're right. You're
not wrong. But
you're
really,
not wrong.
That's been his only downfall to this point.
Knock. That's been his biggest knock.
And I also think the Bills haven't helped him at all either, with the fact that they refused to chip.
I agree too. Yeah, I agree with that.
Like,
I mean, it drove me nuts.
Our scheme was just, they drove me nuts last year with the 25-yard routes over and over with a bad offensive line.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, looking at a lot of mock drafts, because I do a ton, the guys that I normally see available are the Anton Harrisons, who would be a right tackle, Michael Myers, Josh Downs, Mezzie Smith. I can see Mezzie Smith as one of those guys that we take. Mm-hmm. He's 6'3", 323. He's more of a one tech, but man, I would love to have 2 big bodies, him and Daquan together, with Jordan Phillips and Ed Oliver. Oh, that'd be beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Give me that big. Give me the big boys.
Real quick for the chat that wants to do this with us. So we are going to do like a 2-week kind of mock draft live here. So I don't want to get this wrong. So April 28th. When's the draft? I'm sorry. April 27th is the draft. Okay.
Yep.
So we are going to be going live on a Friday on April 14th at 8:30. We're going to just do them 8:30 from now on because it's better for Mikey and it works out. So 8:30, more than likely. Obviously, I'll confirm it again. But we're going to be doing our first mock draft. We'll have some guests on, and it'll be like we'll probably do multiple mock drafts that night. On the 21st, which is the very next Friday, it's going to be a chat mock draft. So, guys, I'll tweet it out. If you don't have my Twitter account, it's right there below Mikey's face, right? And there's Mikey's Twitter. We will tweet it out. Follow us. Come on, join us that day because it's going to be really about the chat. We are not going to do the draft. Y'all going to do the draft. So that's the 21st. So we want you guys to do the draft. We are not going to be.
We'll be doing ours as videos. We'll be dropping.
Well, on the week before, the 14th.
Well, I'll be doing mock
another
draft
one soon, right?
So I'll be doing another one this weekend.
I'll be
doing one every weekend. Woo! I'll be doing one every weekend up to the draft. And this one that I do, I'll include trades. The first one I didn't. This one I will include trades.
Yeah, nice. Okay, good. And I am very curious, by the way. When we do these, they give a grade. Now, mind you, these grades aren't always
8:30. Better not be 8:31.
I know, right? So I'm curious to see your grades, guys, in the chat. Like, I'm very curious to see what they grade your drafts, because I had a great first mock draft. Then I did one right after Mikey, and they gave me like a D. And I'm like, damn. So it's not as, it's tricky because it doesn't always go as planned, man. Your guy's not always there. And remember, we could pause. So think about it as a real GM when 5 minutes is ticking down, and you're like, oh, right. So it's not. Listen, it's not easy. I give these GMs have a tough job, man. They got your guys aren't there, man. It's like you're scrambling to make a choice, or you're going to run out of time. I do have a quick question because I'm Mikey. So the Dolphins, they lose their first round pick, which I believe is 21st. Do they just go around that and nobody picks 20?
Yeah, technically we're pick 28.
Right, because then we're 27.
We're the 27th pick,
right?
Because Miami lost their
so
20th
weird.
pick.
They really, NFL, they hammered down on that. Boy, they're playing around.
Good for them.
Yeah, man. Did we talk about Phillips, by the way, at all?
Phillips, yeah, we talked about Phillips coming back, about him.
Okay.
We're hoping for a healthy season. We're hoping for none of those. Like, his 2 injuries were just hustle injuries that happened, and that plagued his entire season. Yep. So someone did come in and ask, with us re-signing Phillips, are we bringing Lawson back? It depends on who else we bring back. So if we go out and we get Houston or Yannick or Frank Clark or someone like that,
true, yeah,
we probably won't bring Lawson back.
You're right.
However, I thought Lawson was solid.
He was,
and I would love to bring him back on a 1 year, $2 million deal, and let him, because I thought he started after we lost Vaughn.
Yeah,
Basham
he did a good job.
Stayed in roles.
Yeah. I am very curious too on these guys, Phillips, guys that can get to the quarterback. I'm very curious. Now that McDermott is calling the plays. By the way, like we already said he officially
he's much more aggressive.
I'm very curious how these guys' stats look at will look. Because I have a feeling everyone's pressure stats are going to go up because he is more aggressive. Meaning, I wonder if Phillips gets a little bit more playing time because he's more of a pass rusher. Even though he's rotational, he might be in there a little bit more than he was last year if he can stay healthy. Because he was an excellent man. Look at those first 2 games that he played. I mean, he was
until he got sniped against Tennessee. He was great.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was making spin moves. I mean, he was, for a big man, he gets to the quarterback pretty quick. So, man, I mean, going in healthy, if he goes into season healthy, McDermott might use him a little bit more than Frazier did. I'm just throwing that out there. So we'll see. Gregory Rousseau.
It depends on who it is.
Yeah,
who it is, because and if we still have Oliver or not, that will also depend because he's more of a pass rusher.
No, you're right.
I can see in those 3rd and longs, I can see a Phillips and Oliver duo that you didn't see much last year.
That's what I'm saying. Right. Right. Exactly. So we'll see. I'm very interested though to see how McDermott's defense for a full season.
Yeah.
This time around.
How much different it looks than Leslie's, because Leslie, everything I heard, Leslie is more of a conservative defensive coordinator, and McDermott was always, because McDermott came from the Jim Johnson tree,
right?
Who was just attack,
right?
He had a very attacking defense in Carolina,
right? He did 100%. He did, and I think we've all been screaming for that. Like, I would rather you attack, and listen, it's not going to always work out. You're going to get beat.
You're going to get beat, and that's fine.
Yeah, but you can't just keep playing soft zones every single freaking game and every single 3rd down. It's just like, what's weird? I'm very surprised that McDermott didn't step in more often, because he did early on in Frazier's time here. And it kind of felt like he not backtracked, but he kind of laid off doing that after maybe he felt like the media got on him for doing that. Because remember, there was a lot of like, oh man, Frazier's getting, is that right that he's taking it? So maybe McDermott didn't want to do that again to Frazier, but maybe he should have. Maybe.
We'll find out this year, won't we?
Yeah, we will.
It's all in his hands now.
It is. I will. It better be good. I will say this though, Mikey. If the defense, because we only lost Edmonds, if the defense is not a top 10 defense, people will be pissed. I promise you. And it's not going to be because, one player made that huge difference while we're not a top 10 defense. If we're not looking good, it's going to fall only on one guy, bro. That's Sean McDermott.
I don't disagree with that.
He has a lot of pressure on him. That's a lot of pressure, bro, because now he is not only the head coach, but he's calling the plays on defense, and we all know it now. You know what I mean? We can't point the finger at Frazier anymore. You know what I'm saying? Now it's squarely on one dude. That's kind of like when you're a head coach and a GM, right? You could be a really good head coach, but if you draft shitty, right? You sign bad free agents, people are going to be like pointing at, that's not right. You know what I mean? That's a big responsibility. So what he's doing, that's a lot of pressure, in my opinion. That is a ton of pressure, and I hope he's up for it. I really do.
He doesn't have a choice. Game on,
No,
brother.
I know he doesn't. But listen, he does have a choice. But he welcomed it. He could have said no. Washington, I want you to. You know what I mean? He could have picked a guy.
There's a few of them that came in. Could have been the new guy who's the senior defensive guy.
Yeah.
We
but
do
he
have
didn't
other guys.
He didn't take that route. Is my point.
I think he had to, because our defense is what's let us down the last few years in the playoffs.
Maybe Bean's like, yo.
I don't think it's Bean, because he doesn't report to Bean. He reports.
No, but I'm just saying, I've been drafting these defensive guys for you. What's going on, bud? You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So we'll see.
This is McDermott's make it or break it year.
I think so too. I do.
A lot of people think that.
I don't think it will be, but I think it would be a huge mistake if we don't get to Super Bowl and they don't fire him. Like, you can't keep doing this over and over. I run it back only works so many times. And like, I can't, and he has no excuses now. Like, honestly, he is calling the defense. We're just talking about it now. You're the head coach. You're calling the defense. You are a defensive coach. If your defense can't get better in big time situations, then you are not the guy. We need an offensive head coach. That's it. Plain and simple, bro. You know what I mean? Just throwing that out there. If he was an offensive head coach and our offense stunk and he took over offensive play calling and it still stunk, you got to fire him. It's the same thing.
Ben, get rid of McDermott. Welcome to the next 17-year playoff.
No, that's
There's
not
a
true.
difference. We have Josh Allen.
True. That's not true. Yeah, that's not. Listen, Brandon Beane's been getting the talent. He's been bringing the pieces. He hasn't been perfect, but I still believe that Brandon Beane would go out and find, and the ownership would find a good coach.
I don't think McDermott's going anywhere. I really don't.
I don't either. I agree. I don't think he's going anywhere. Sadly, I think that would still be a big mistake.
I think Dorsey's on the hot seat this year. If it doesn't get better,
I agree with that.
He could be out the door.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that too, because he's young and they're not going to play that game. Like, if he's just not the guy, he's not the guy.
They'll bring a veteran OC in.
I am with that, and I'm good with that. I'm totally listen, man. I want to win. I don't care how it gets done, who you bring in.
We just need to see, like, it shouldn't go backwards. Last year we started out hot and we got cold down the stretch. If it happens like that again this year, I can see us moving on.
Sure.
What's going on, Joey?
I agree.
Welcome to the show, Bubba.
Yep, I totally agree with that. I'm good with that.
Spin, I love Spin. D-Hop and a right tackle. Give me D-Hop and a right tackle, and he guarantees it.
Figure it out, man. Figure it out. That's Brandon Beane's job, right?
Bring me D-Hop, God damn it.
I want him too, man. I do. Mikey, that's the one guy, man. Him or Derrick Henry, but I know the Henry thing. By the way, the Titans came out, the GM, and said he probably ain't going anywhere. It seems like
he's their entire offense right now.
I get it, and I figured that, but that goes back to the whole rumor thing, right? But the D-Hop thing is real. That's real. The Arizona came out and said it. They are letting him talk to other teams. So that is going to happen. Who, where, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I didn't hear that one, Joey. I know you can. I know they changed it. You can keep your 90-man roster until they just have one cut through all the way through training camp. Now you only have one cut. You no longer have multiple cuts.
Cuts will be interesting too this year. There's always surprise cuts, man. I'm so curious who they want to cut.
Spence says, "Hey, in case anyone hasn't noticed, he thinks we need a right tackle."
I don't think that's the most important position that we need. Linebacker is the most important right as of right now. I think Spencer Brown still can figure it out. I mean, I think right now our biggest hole that the biggest concern is middle linebacker.
Now, what we haven't talked about is, do you think there's a way we could trade for a middle linebacker?
Trading up.
No, trade player. Trade for a middle linebacker that's on someone's
team.
I
see what you're saying. I haven't heard anything about it. Like I haven't heard any.
Those are the ones that actually happen.
No, I agree. It could. It'd be a sneaky. A draft day trade, but I don't think so. I don't. I have a feeling that I don't. You know what? I'm gonna throw it out. I don't think they get a linebacker till the second or third round, bro.
I think second we're going to trade back and then we're going to grab.
That's what I'm saying. I would love it. Like that would be ideal. I'm telling you, if we can somehow get Hopkins, get the guy we want, right? In linebacker.
Hopkins, I can see us trading back, collecting more picks.
No, I agree with that. And still get the linebacker you want
early too.
I get you. Yeah, I'm good with that too. We'll see. It's very interesting. Very interesting draft.
Quickly, Joey comes in and says, Wiki said that Bills were talking to Poona Ford. That we were talking to Poona Ford. However,
we got
we signed Jordan Phillips. I think that takes Poona, because I think Poona wants too much. Like Calais Campbell canceled his visit with us because he signed a 1 year, $7 million with Atlanta.
Which we weren't gonna. They
Beans
probably
already
told him right away.
Said, yeah. Beans already said we're not paying more than $2 million.
Right.
Because if we do, then that goes into our comp.
He saved him a trip.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He saved him. He didn't want to waste, and that's smart. You're not gonna wait. Listen, he ain't talking to Brandon Beane. This is his agent.
We have 67 now. By the time we get to camp, we'll have 90.
Oh, 100%. And you're talking about
class, undrafted free agents, all that.
Other like guys we wind up picking off other people's rosters that get waived. Like there's definitely going to be 100. I want to worry about it.
I love that idea because that means they have to eat his guaranteed money. Yes. I'll send my first round pick to him this year for Edmonds back. You guys go ahead and eat that 50-something million. We'll take him on a 4-year, $30 million contract.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
They changed their minds. They're like,
I will take that right now.
Right. Maybe he's not the guy.
They eat that guaranteed. I'm good with that.
That would be wild, man. Anything else, Mikey?
No, I think I'm good. Mock draft this weekend. I'm gonna run another one. I'll be doing it every weekend. I'll do it every weekend until the draft.
So I'm gonna be doing mine too. I'll upload them. So on every mock draft we do, guys. So I put in the title Team Mikey or Team Tommy. I want you guys to watch them. Let us know who you likes draft better.
Team Mikey always wins, Tommy. Just know this. Team Mikey always wins.
You did get more views.
Listen, look, I'm going to pick a right tackle in the first round, and I'll win.
Hey, you're right.
Spin's going to vote 100 times.
Spin's your man right away. Golly, man.
Pander to the chat.
All right. Kiss ass. All right. Well, guys, we're out of here. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. And we will be back next Friday at 8:30. Look for the videos of the mock drafts this week. I'll be posting them. Other than that, man, we're out of here. Have a good night. Bills Mafia, we love you. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good show. Hour and 15 minutes. Hey, look, we're still live. I don't know why I didn't end